But I think also opening up her space energy, like having a space where when you're in it, it just opens everything. Because when you're in with other people, sometimes all of their energy comes in and it closes you off. And when I'm around a lot of people that are negative, I get very frustrated and angry. I'm just like, oh, and I got to try to blow the energy apart and pull in my energy. Like sometimes we'll go into a group of meditation and everything is so low and it's just all I'm doing is fighting, and then finally the energy opens and I'm like here, and then something comes along and then it shuts down again, and it's this overpowering heavy energy, and it's like trying to just open up and hold that space. And wherever me and Cindy go, I always got to try to do that. It's bring in the space, hold it, and then just expand it until everybody fits in it and they all adjust and allow the energy to flow so it doesn't shut off. So I think you might need to do that, and it's just becoming conscious. And I think those Hands of Light, Light Emerging, and Core Light, those 3 books, they might help you really understand how your auric field gets affected and energy transfers and other things. And I think once you have that in your mind and you're really aware, I think you'll just shift it. But having that space is important.
It was interesting because this morning the energy for us kind of fluctuated in different ways. And you just don't realize it or notice it so much when you're in it. You're just kind of rolling with it. And I remember like this one point where I was saying to Joe, it's like, I want it to be like it was Saturday morning. The Saturday morning, we had this really big discussion and there was a beautiful energy that came in and I was experiencing, it was very peaceful. And I just felt really connected to that truth inside. I want to call it that I was connected to God inside me, but it feels weird for me to say that. So I'm like still working on that one for myself, but there was a really beautiful energy. And I was like, I want this more often. I want this every day. Hey, you know what? It's always here. This feeling doesn't go anywhere. It's like my consciousness is the one that like flips the channel and it goes into frustration or irritation or, you know, like excitement, you know, different things like that. So there's just an awareness that came in. So this morning I wanted to go back in that energy, and somehow I was saying that it wasn't here. And we find that energy opens and it closes around us. And it was just before this meditation group was to start, I said, Joe, the energy's here. Like it's turned on. I'm excited and I feel this excitement inside that this group is about to start. And it feels like channeling's going to happen, even though I said, what are we going to talk about today? And I said, I think we're going to talk about how the energy can open up and close, and how to recognize it. And then I don't know if there's like, this is where I pass the mic to Joe to describe how the energy can open and close and how it influences. Because Elaine was talking about that too. For her week, she had 2 days of frustration and then other days where everything was good.
I know with me, it's just a habit where I welcome in. I'm always welcoming spirits or knowledge or guidance, or if there's somebody around me and their heavy energy is heavy, I'll try to right away connect with their angels or spirit guides and see if something can come and lift the energy so it's not pulling me down or affecting me in different ways. And for 10 years, I've been trying to get Cindy to understand this. There's an energy that's around her, and the more she becomes conscious of it, the more it comes in and she can open and close it herself. And the universe allows. They don't force this. It's not pushed on you. It's not something they're commanding you to do. It's like, it's a desire. There's something, and you start living with that energy. You start feeling it inside and it radiates. And so whatever you're doing and thinking, it responds faster. And I think when you're moving through healing, lifting veils, moving through stuff, there's all this humanness in the way. But once these start lifting, you start noticing how the energy comes in really fast. And I've tried many different ways to help her recognize that, even with the sun dances, the sweat lodges, lots of different things, because there's times where it gets really big and she's like, whoa. And it's like, okay, inside yourself, what is opening up? Mm-hmm. Like, become really aware of your thoughts and your feelings or people and things around you, because you start sensing people and who's energy sort of brings you down or whose elevates you. And she's more and more and more praying. So it's becoming quicker with her. And like I say, only you will know inside. It's like, I've done this so long, it's just automatic, and it's really hard to go through my mind and say, well, these are all the steps, because everybody has a different way of doing that. Like even meditating, there's different forms of meditation. When you find yours, it just will trigger so fast and everything will just come in and expand and happen for you. So this morning, what I did is, she was trying to feel the energy, and I just took the sage, which I do, and I'm like, okay, God, I want you to come in. And I just talked to God for a while, like, please bless the sage, please bless her surroundings, please bless each person on the meditation group. So I'll say Zarina, everybody's name.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm asking that light expand, all angelic beings that work with that come on in and open space around everybody and fill that space for whatever needs to go on. And then while I'm burning the smudge, that the energy goes through to each person to break, clear, to undo. And after I had done that, I went to go make tea, and she says, oh, the energy is here. And I'm like, yeah, because the first thing I do is I call in the creator, and I recognize that the energy and the light and everything there, and you can just feel this energy radiating everywhere. And when you find those right things for yourself, whenever you do it, you're going to feel that energy open. And it's, so I've got her like burning incense. So like I used to get her to burn incense every day, and it became a pattern, and things would happen. She'd say a prayer, something would happen really fast. Within 4 days, something would go on. And she's like, wow, this is really interesting. And she'd get really excited. And then she'd try another experiment and try something else. And you can start seeing these things. And this is part of the universe allowing you to play and find your language, because everybody has their own language. Because all the billions of years you've been a spirit traveling and learning and growing, there's something inside you that you know the creator. You may not call it the way other people do, but when you do it, it just makes something happen. And it brings this light, this peace, this energy, and it just grounds you in. And even as a child, you just knew it. You didn't have words for it. So recognizing that energy. And once you start doing that, it responds faster and faster. And Cindy is doing different kinds of things that are making it quicker. So when I do certain things, or just trying to show her, and she can do the same thing, because sometimes she waits for me to do it, and I'm like, well, maybe you just need to try yourself. Just call in the creator before the Zoom and just see what happens. And that'll be her experiment, or whatever she wants to do. So
That's really cool, because just the way that Joe just explained it there, and I understood it for myself, where I was telling you how I have this, you know, a little bit of a hang up about saying that it was God that I connected to inside on the Saturday morning, that this beautiful, peaceful energy came in. And I said, that's something that I need to work on, right? So that's that language. But when Joe said that we, as children, we knew this energy, but we didn't call it God as children, we just would go into the energy. And that's what I felt on Saturday. And it was this beautiful, peaceful energy. And it just felt like it was really connected. And call it God or whatever language it works for you. But it's the feeling that you feel and you connect with. And where Joe also suggested that it's just play in the energy, like the experiments that we put out, like, okay, I'm going to light an incense every day, or I'm going to ask a question every night before I go to sleep. This is your playground that you're playing with, is your consciousness and your awareness of the space that you're in. So every day, you as the adult is like a child playing in energy. And with, for another word that's coming into our language recently, is our realities that we are living. And this is my playground, and I can be like a child, but not actually have to play like a child. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to play kids' games. I can play adult games, be playful with this energy that I feel.
Because I always tell her, it's spontaneous. It's when it opens up, it starts doing things. It wants to help you, whatever you're trying to manifest and create. And when you discover your language, and like I say, if you watch a child, there's an energy, and when they recognize it, they sit in it, and whatever they want to call fantasy or an imagination friend or whatever, they start going into that, and it responds, and then they just start playing and doing things, and the universe sometimes opens things and shows them stuff in their future, and they don't know they're looking at stuff in their future, and they're just playing, but it's actually downloading and giving them things. They don't have an actual word or language or anything. They just know that energy. There's something really beautiful about it, and we all go in and out of it, and it's like, how can I keep this energy longer? How can I adjust so I can be in this energy and hold it more and more and more? And that's something I try to do every day. It's like, okay, if I can bring in this energy, how long can I hold it before it needs to lift? And can I stay in it all day and work with it with people no matter where I go? And the cells and the organs and everything are trying to adjust, the brains, the vibrations, all these different things. So you have many kinds of things that are going on in your life, and the universe knows this, so it turns on, turns off. And that's where I'm like, you don't have to do things. It's just like, I can close my eyes, start in my mind talking to the creator and things, and then all of a sudden I'm plugged in, things go on, and then it disconnects, and I don't have to force anything. And this is where you're going to discover yours, and you just go in and out of it, and it's not something you have to spend long periods of time doing. It just really quickly. Somewhere we do it all the time, but we're just not fully conscious of how we're actually doing it, and that's where you're playing and trying to find your language.
So you can ask to become conscious of that energy for yourself and what it feels like for you when you connect to that truth, that God energy, that universal energy, and what it feels like for you. What opened the door for me was that the book that I was reading. No, it was the meditation from Saint Germain, I believe, where it was getting you to think like God is looking through your eyes. And so I was like connecting with that thought. And it was like, so if God's inside me and God is actually looking through my eyes and experiencing my reality, then that light energy or whatever it was for the language, it started getting me curious about what that meant. And that curiosity was that playing as a child. What does that mean? And then as our conversation that we were having, that question was in the background playing out. Like, what does it mean if God is watching through my eyes right now? And then an energy just came in. It's like it activated. I was like, oh, cool. This is really awesome. And I've also been asking, for my heart to be open to allow God's love to continually flow through me. And that was the suggestion that Joe gave me. And Joe said, when I had asked Joe, I'm like, Joe, what do I need to do to connect with energy? And he's like, 2 things: read Core Light by Barbara Brennan. And the other one is to pray every day. No, then there was a third, which was ask for your heart to open and God's love to continually flow through you. So I've been doing every one of them except for reading Core Light.
Yeah, with Cindy, when she was sitting there, all of a sudden she was really in a peaceful state, and she was like, wow, I'm in this energy. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, it started allowing her to feel, and it started to expand. And she just allowed herself to sit there, and she nearly started crying because mm-hmm. she's like, wow, this is such a beautiful energy. And she didn't do anything. It just activated. Mm-hmm. Whatever needed to open, it just came in. And the subject we're talking about, because I had brought up feelings too, because everything is responding to feelings. And sometimes I try to encourage people to do things that are exciting or makes them really, really happy and want more of that, because then the universe gets excited and gives you more. It tries to find ways to create happiness and joy. And I tell people, well, ask for that happiness to stay inside. You don't have to do anything to actually be happy. You can be bubbling with joy and laughter and just this energy beaming off you. And the universe can place it inside you, and you just radiate it, and whoever comes around you, it just feels so good all the time. And there's many, many other things. And that's why I like saying the great mystery, because there's so many kinds of things. And when I ask sometimes, these energies come in me and they get really, really big. And I'm like, whoa, you know, some of it is so big, sometimes I can't sit in it for very long. And it's just an energy that comes from the universe and it belongs to everybody. And there's so much. And I like experimenting and trying things. I'm like, okay, today I'm going to ask and just see if I can throughout the day ask this to see if something is going to go on and how I feel and what does it do for me. Am I able to keep it grounded and hold that energy and maybe see if it will shift things for people or not? So I try a lot of different things, because the biggest part is I had to learn so much on my own. I had to learn how to be playing and creative when I'm reading books, and that is like, how do I go into this and what do I need to ask or do? Or is there somewhere I can sit with a group of people and maybe they're meditating on this and I can just sit and being in their energy, it'll just come in and it'll help me. So I spent years of my life doing that. And I'm trying to figure out, well, how can I put it into words to help somebody else understand it?